And we are back, G Mac and Frankie Boy,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
for
Frankie
another
Boy.
edition
Frankie
of
Boy,
Frankie Boy of the Outlaw Blitz podcast, buddy. Let's get dangerous.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Surprised that I'm here, but
I'm surprised I let you in with that shirt on. Is what I'm surprised
Yep,
at.
Fly. I was gonna sing the song on the way in.
Yeah.
Actually, Fly Eagles Fly.
Well, you guys got a Thursday night game this week, right?
We do, yeah, against Minnesota.
Yeah,
So,
and listen. Minnesota can't start 0-2. That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like how we started off. To be honest with you,
Yeah, that was a nail biter up there in New England.
New offensive coordinator,
Yep.
New defensive coordinator. We have all the guys in place, but
Right.
they're new guys. They're taking over a new position.
Overreaction Monday. The biggest overreaction Monday is always the Monday after opening weekend.
Right.
Because, opening weekend can go a million different ways, and it doesn't define who you are.
Yeah, and also tell me, any opening first game of the season has ever meant shit.
Right. And not for nothing, how many are always usually the last possession?
Right.
How every game's down to, because you're figuring things out on the fly. You think you got to figure it out, then you don't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Eagle stuff.
I know, but we're both NFC East
guys.
Yes,
and
we've suffered a lot through that division.
Lot of trouble.
You remember when teams made it at 7-7?
The NFC least they called it a couple years
back. So
back.
it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
I'm not a hater. I don't want to lose to you guys, but
No, listen.
We both got really good defenses. I think that
we're not the Giants.
Yeah, not the Giants. But even them, they lose 40-0. But really, if they get things together, first game ain't gonna mean nothing.
Yeah, the NFC East is 3-1.
Yeah, and it's a great feeling. Living in New York and being an Eagles fan has been tough.
Cowboy fan, I know.
Right, so and I wasn't always an Eagles fan. Actually, my dad was a Giants fan.
Okay.
So I remember '86.
Yep.
And Mark Bavaro, Phil McConkey.
Yeah.
Yep. Those were my guys.
Yep.
Until I started playing football. And I always wanted to be a running back, but I can throw the crap out of the ball. Right? So then I get into it and I'm thinking, yeah, all right, well, quarterback, we're going to throw. And then you get to high school football and it's like you don't throw the ball.
Right. Not nearly like what you're thinking.
Yeah. And even so much more so back then when you first started.
Yep.
I'm going 7th grade, stuff like that. And then I happened to come across Randall Cunningham. And I seen Randall Cunningham and how he was able to run and pass and do all those things. And for me, that was the first running quarterback that I caught on to.
He was an anomaly back then.
Yeah.
Nobody really did that. Even Warren Moon. Warren Moon was a pocket passer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cunningham was the first true RPO guy.
Yeah. So then I just, I fell in love with, a player I believe can make you fall in love with the team.
Yeah.
And it was. And I just stuck with the Eagles since. And
your dad had it not like that too much.
No. I mean, any father, but even Marciano too. He's a big time Eagles fan now. But when we start, when growing up, when he was younger, Saints.
Because, whoever, Breeze or
because of Breeze, and then it was the Vikings because of Adrian Peterson, and all that. So, but
and then you settle in.
Yes.
So see, I got the reverse. Like Boston's always been a Cowboy fan. Like my whole family's Jets fans. Yeah. So I've always asked, like, how did I become a Cowboy fan? My dad's like, you like that star. We could never get you away from that star.
Yeah, it could be one little thing. And then it draws your interest.
Right.
And then you just, before you know it, you're watching them, you're falling in love with them.
Yep.
You cry with them. And,
you cry with him? Yeah, you cry with him.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, why do Cowboys got to suck? I said, Bud, when I was your age, they were really bad, and then they were really good.
Yeah.
I said I had a good little run, but for the most part, they weren't always great, Yeah.
So Eagles pulled it out though, which is great. But I'll tell you, what was one of the saddest parts for me for the weekend was watching Rodgers.
That was heartbreaking.
Like I said the Jets are going to be my favorite AFC team this year, and the reason is because I happened to catch an episode of Hard Knocks. Right now, I'm like, and I used to watch it years ago. I'm going to watch this. So I start from the beginning, and I'm like falling in love with Rodgers and how he interacts with the team and how he leads the team and stuff like that. You coach, I coach. So that's kind of what I look for.
Right. You see how the interactions go.
Right. And then 4 plays in, I literally almost for a split second felt like a real Jet fan with how I felt. And then I think about all my Jet fan buddies and, Jet fans seem to be nice guys.
Yeah, with delusion.
They're genuinely nice guys. Usually, the Jet fans I know, they're not like Giant fans.
Yeah.
Jet fans are usually nice guys, and so it's horrible for them. But
I tell you, when I saw that happen, I went at first you don't know. It looked like a routine sack.
Yeah.
And he got up, and his eyes were like a deer in the headlights. And somebody must have yelled to him, "You okay?" Because you see him kind of go.
Right.
And then he sat down, and I went, "Uh-oh, he's hurt."
Yeah.
He's hurt.
When he sat down, especially on his face, you can kind of tell. But I'll tell you what, did you see him run out with the flag in the beginning? That's amazing. Probably where he messed his Achilles up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he sprinted out faster than I've seen him run in years.
Yeah.
So he was hyped up.
But that stadium was rocking.
Yeah.
9/11, he comes out with the flag. They're all ready for it.
Yeah, I knew people that went. I had family of mine has season tickets, so I seen that they were there, and they said it was the greatest they've seen it in many, many years.
I'll tell you what, even early in the game, I think it might even been a national anthem. You couldn't hear all the live mics. You were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
that's how loud the stadium was, which
unreal.
It was this big thing, and then all the air went out of the stadium in 3 minutes.
Well, that goes to show you that something can be taken away
very quickly. Yeah,
very quickly.
Yep.
So nothing's guaranteed. So,
right. He did have a cool statement today. He came out on Instagram. He said, "It's always darkest before the dawn. I'll be back. Oh, you'll watch me rise again," or something like that.
Yeah, but he could have been tripping on.
He sure could have. But yeah. I just feel bad for Jets fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
I feel terrible for Jets fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
But my heart's not going to break. For too long.
No, we're still.
And not for nothing. I thought I was saying to a couple buddies that worked that are Jets fans, even Winnie. I said to him, you know what, dude, you guys probably have your quarterback of the future. Because I thought if Rodgers stayed in a capacity you saw, he was very, very good with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't want to throw this here. You want to throw this there.
Yes.
And if he comes back and puts the headsets on and coaches them through,
right,
I think it'll help Zach Wilson be the player they think he is.
It's not going to change Wilson's ability. It's not going to change his physical ability and what he can do, but it will help his intelligence, his football intelligence.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I don't think his ability to throw a ball or whatever has ever been questioned. It's more like reading the field.
Right.
Hey, listen, this is what you want here. This guy's got inside leverage, check with me, turn him the opposite way, whatever, So I think if Aaron Rodgers comes back and can, relay that type of message to him, it'll make him a lot better.
Well, hopefully that was in his contract.
Yeah. If not, it's like $10 million a play.
Yeah. Oh, poor Jets.
Yeah. All right. So I brought you in here because, I find you to be a very interesting person. Now, we've grown up. We played baseball together. We've coached together. We've done all these things together.
Yeah.
But what you do with so, this all kind of ties together. You do something amazing, I think, with kids, and you have youth build. And on the flip side of that, your last name tends to bring a problem. If somebody doesn't know you, they just judge you by the name. If they look at a piece of paper and they see the name, and I know this is a sticking point with you.
Right.
And I think it helps you in your career now.
100%.
People look at a name and they go, "Oh, well, that guy, this is a problem."
Yeah.
And you've had to overcome that for a lot of years. You want to talk about that a little bit at all?
Yeah, sure. Everybody, usually if you're from this area or, even the county, it's a familiar last name, and most of the time it's familiar for the wrong reasons. I know growing up, I dealt with a lot of trauma, a lot of things that most kids probably don't have to go through or see, growing up. And some people may say, "Oh, well, that's how it happens with big Italian families," and no, that's not what happens all the time. So my whole point was, and I made mistakes when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a nice person. I was, always looking to get in a scrap and, stuff like that. But my point was, I want to say when my daughter was born, right? So when my daughter was born, then one of the decisions I made for myself was my kids will never be, succumbed or have to witness the things I did when I grew up, right? So that was my number one, right? So it made me constantly be involved with my kids all the time, right? But the main thing is I had to make sure I was making the right choices, right? So that's what I say. my family, I love them. They're great. If you know them, they're great people. They'll give you the shirt off their back, right? So I don't think that I'm better than them at all. I think I made better choices. And that's what it comes down to, right? You got to make the right choices. And if you choose another way, it's going to make you popular for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So yeah, I made it a purpose of this is how I'm going to be, and try to, kind of dwindle down that stigma that you get in this town when you have the last name that I do. And I feel like I managed that. I got 2 kids, graduated high school, and it's nice because I do have, I see other family members that, they're doing with their children the same thing, right? We want to kind of like break that chain,
right?
Break that cycle, and some of them are doing it too, and it's great to see.
So that's awesome, and like knowing you for so long.
Well, back in the '80s, my family was pretty rough. You know what I mean? Like my dad included. I witnessed some wild things.
And I think going through whatever trauma you went through there makes it more relatable for what you do now.
And that's what I do. So I deal with some.
Right. So tell everybody what exactly your position is and what you do.
All right. So I actually started with Ulster Youth Build probably back in 2015 or so. And I originally started off, I was just the AmeriCorps coordinator, which is, I got whoever was in Youth Build, the students, and I helped them find community service projects and tracked all that. I kind of worked my way up throughout the years. So I started off as the AmeriCorps coordinator. I was the recruiter, the case manager, the job developer. So I kind of did all of these positions. And then what happened is COVID hit. And when COVID hit, our program manager at the time left the program. And, I was offered the position, and I felt like, yes, COVID hit, but you know what? This is just going to this ain't going to be good for the kids, especially the kids that we deal with, right? Because now they're going to have all the time in the world to spend in the community. And in the predicaments that we were trying to get them out of.
Right, idle hands are the devil's playthings.
Yeah. So ultimately, it led to now where I'm the program director, and so over the years, working my way up and being able to see each position and how it works, I was able to build a great team. And basically, what we do is now this program started in 1994 in Kingston, but the first original youth build was 1978 in Spanish Harlem.
Okay.
A woman named Dorothy Stroman started it in 1994. So there's actually a Youth Build Act that signed into federal government, and it was done in '94 by Clinton.
Okay.
This guarantees money to be out there, the funds available for youth builds.
Okay.
Today there's like 258 around the country and in the world. So Youth Build Africa, Youth Build Brazil,
right?
And that proves it works. So we are a program for 16 to 24-year-olds, male and female. The students that maybe have traditional school wasn't for them, didn't work out for them. Now, although we are allowed to take a small percentage of students that have graduated, that have their high school diploma, and then they come to us for the job training side of it. But we get kids 16 to 24. A lot of these kids come from issues in the past, whether it's, family violence or involved with the law. But ultimately, traditional school wasn't for them. So they come to us and we try to make it like a family. You've seen some of the TikTok videos, and we try to love them through the good and the bad. They come in the program, and we are partnered with BOCES, so they supply us our school teacher. So we have a classroom where they are working towards their education and getting their diplomas. And then we also have, what we do is we take either vacant property, or in this case, we are actually partnering with Rubco and doing a house of theirs. We're totally redoing it. It's a total gut. But these students get trained as they are on the job, building homes.
Right.
We have 2 construction guys, like master carpenters on the job site, and that's it. They build an entire home, and it's done by these young people. So we give them the opportunity. We are also then responsible for job placing them after in the program. The program could be 6 to 9 months long, and then we have a job development placement specialist, and they place them in a job that's meaningful. A job that, because we get them certifications along the way, within the industry that they are interested in.
Now, what are some of the jobs, like off the top of your head, that they've landed in?
So we have a manufacturing career path. So we offer these these industry recognized credentials that they have to go through. It's almost like a pre-apprenticeship.
Yeah.
We have construction career path, nursing, culinary. So they get to choose. We use construction solely as a tool, right? But it's full circle, because these homes that we're building, they then are bought by first-time low-income home buyers. Okay. So we've even had one of our students' family members that were able to buy one of the homes. So it's a great thing.
That's a great,
right. I took part in helping building this home, and now
and now my family's able to buy it.
Right. So it's a good feeling, but. So we are partnered with the union. So we've placed students in union jobs. We've placed students with pretty, major contracting firms around. We have a student right now going through nursing training school. So it has to be what they're interested in. But we use construction to build these homes because, if you're on a construction crew, you have to work good as a team. You have to show up on time.
It's a good team building atmosphere.
Right. And it's the same thing with what I had to do with my family, is try to break generational mishaps.
Right.
And with these young people, it's the same thing. We want to show them that it is possible. And
there can be a different outcome to a common problem.
Right. Some of their roads are going to be a lot harder than some other kids' roads, and I explain that to them, and I'm honest with them. And I think the biggest thing is they relate. So.
But see, there's where it all rolls back.
Right.
I said, in the beginning, you're relatable because you've lived it, you've done it.
Yeah.
And then you pulled yourself from here to there, and you made them like you said, choices, right? So you grab these. Now, where do they get referred to you, or how does it work?
So we have a recruiter who's also a local Saugerties girl, Skylar Sprance.
Okay.
And we take groups in every few months. We get referrals from schools. We get referrals from probation department. But a lot of it is, word of mouth from students, because they come into the program. And, originally some of them are like, they're saying for me.
Yeah.
And, they're tough kids. But they wind up falling in love with the program. And then they'll tell a friend of theirs, that may be out of school. And then that friend all of a sudden wants to come. Because we offer students a $100 referral bonus.
Right.
And that's another thing, too. So these kids earn a stipend the whole time they're in the program.
Okay.
So every 2 weeks, they will get a stipend check, and it helps them, get to the program.
And you're building good characteristics like being on time, showing
Absolutely.
up every day, all the
it's all done on a point system.
Right.
So if you lose points, you lose money.
Oh, perfect.
You're late from lunch, and it's getting them ready to be employable. Right. You want to send them off to one of our employer partners, and you want to hear good feedback from them. Right. So we set them up for everything from, we have a case manager who's Samantha Wamsley.
Yeah.
Gabe Vaez is our job developer, so more people with experience, that kind of like.
That were in different industries that know how to pull it in and say, hey, this is action.
I was like, just believe I surrounded myself with a good team.
That's what good coaches do.
And that's how I approach everything.
Right.
And, everything comes from a coaching standpoint.
Right.
Like, how can I build a good team that's going to be the best team for these young people?
Right.
And we've seen great things, kids graduating and the high schools letting them walk on stage. And
I did notice that, like, back in June, that a group of kids had graduated. Yeah,
Yes.
I know they got their diplomas or whatever through you guys, but it was a big deal for them to walk on the stage.
Yeah.
Listen, traditional school, whether it failed them or it wasn't for them, regardless, they accomplished something they were proud of, and they wanted to be able to walk on the stage, and that was huge that you guys got that approval from the different schools.
And that's what it is. They didn't leave school because they didn't want to learn.
Right.
I promise you that.
Just didn't mesh with what they were.
Right, exactly. It wasn't for them,
Or they might not have had a home life where they could have gotten to school
and that's the truth. That's the truth. Some of them have to have younger siblings where they have to worry about getting their younger siblings to school and taking care of them after school. Yeah, it's a lot to it that a lot of people don't, see. Traditional schools and teachers are great. I have a lot of friends that are teachers and even school staff and stuff like that. But there's so many kids and so few of them that it's hard to make sure you're paying attention to everyone.
Right. And again, relatable.
Yeah.
If you don't really relate to the situation, it's hard to understand it.
Yes. And here it's a smaller base, so we take 30 kids every year. And you can't just come to our program and you're in. So I do, all youth builds do what they call a mental toughness. So for 2 to 3 weeks, you're coming to program, you're not earning money, you're not in the program, and you have to sit with me and in a group. And we go over a lot of things about life and about making the right decisions and roadblocks and all this stuff. Then you have a final interview. And then you find out if you're accepted into the program or not, right? Because some kids ain't ready yet right now. Right. And that's my job to try and decipher that.
Like say, hey, it's too early.
Right, because in my mind, yes, I want to help every kid. If they need help, I want to help them. But we only have 30 slots. So am I going to give a slot to this kid that I know ain't ready, and then I miss out on giving it to another kid? So
that could really capitalize on it right
exactly. Now. So you got to kind of figure them out. And over the years,
Right, you learn how to read people. Do you see relief on their faces when they do get accepted?
100%. We've cried in that room together. Some of them that get accepted when and me, I like messing with them. Right. So I always throw something.
I don't know if we're going to be able to.
Yeah. Because we do the interviews and then we announce in a group if we know that they all made it. Right. So yeah, I like messing with them. Say, yeah, well, there's some that might, not make it. Don't be mad at me. Come back and try again.
Right.
Which I do. You want to let them understand that people make mistakes, and we give those second, third, fourth chances because when something's going to click.
Right.
And they'll be ready. Dorothy Stroman, I said, started the program. She has since retired, but the CEO of our program is John Valverde of All Youth Builds. And he was in prison for 16 years for murder. A guy that was accused of raping his girlfriend, he murdered the man and did 16 years. And even someone like him, who's a CEO now of something great, these young people have to believe that they have that opportunity. And that's kind of what we try to help them do, Yeah. That's great.
What would you say, you don't have to percentage-wise. What would you say your success rate is roughly?
I can say that probably about 75%.
Well, that's a high rate. When you really think about it, that's a very high rate.
Yeah. So I'm the one responsible for doing, because we are funded through the Department of Labor.
Okay.
Right. I mean, the federal government wants to make sure everything's right, with the numbers and all that. So I'm the one that writes the reports and puts the numbers in and stuff. And we're one of the, top youth builds when it comes to that. Many of our kids have gotten their diplomas. There's certain things you have to do in order to be considered successful. And unfortunately, New York doesn't think that to be considered successful, you need to have your diploma. But we make
you guys, I noticed that a lot of you guys really push getting your diploma.
Yeah.
Now, so I don't understand how it works. I'm going to ask a few questions just to kind of get it figured out.
Right.
So they come in if they like you said they may have their diploma, but they also may not. Right. Most do not. I would imagine.
Yes.
So when they get their diploma, are they done with the program, or that's just part of it?
That is just part of it. They will continue to get their Home Builders Institute pre-apprenticeship training, which is a nationally recognized industry credential.
Okay.
And then also getting the hands-on training at the house, building the home. The best part about our program is, now, I always encourage kids when they come in, if you can finish traditional high school, if you think that's something that you can do, by all means, do that.
Right.
Okay. We've had some kids that came in, started the program, and decided to go back to regular high school. Right. It's always their choice.
But if they successfully complete it, that's great.
That is great. I always encourage that. Right. I have 2 kids of my own that did that, and I wish that for them all. But some of them, it's just not possible.
Right.
So they come in and say, if a kid graduates, first of all, they don't have to leave after 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
They can be in the program up to 2 years.
All right. That was my question.
Because our grant it lasts a 2-year period.
Okay.
So, but after they graduate, right, and this is something that high schools don't do, right? I mean, and some teachers may continue to reach out to students or staff, but when you graduate, congratulations, here's your diploma.
Yep.
Good luck in life.
Right.
You know, here, when you graduate, we are required by the Department of Labor to follow them for a year. Right. So we have to get information from them every couple months. We have to make sure that they're still employed. If they're not employed, they can come back to us and we'll find them another opportunity. I have students that graduated 5 years ago and for some reason or another is out of a job now, and they come back and yeah, sure, come in.
Right.
We'll see what employer partners we have that are looking for work, and I'll try and set them up. Right. I tell them it's for life.
Right.
Most of them call me Uncle Frank. I try none of them to tell me that I'm old enough to call me Papa Frank or anything like that. But, you know,
we're getting there though. Bud.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, I had one student not that long ago. I was trying to step in between 2 students, and one of them popped me in my eye. And I'm thinking, like, yep, I'm getting a little bit slower because it was just the corner of my eye.
Right.
It would have hit me in my nose if I didn't move, but usually I make them punches miss. But now he caught me in my eye, and I said, yeah, I'm getting a little slower.
Right. Now there obviously is one of the differences between a normal classroom setting.
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with a little bit rougher clientele, so to speak, or student at this point.
Yep.
And you're going to have those.
Yeah, occasionally. I can proudly say in 9 years that I've been there, we've had maybe 3 altercations physically. A lot of almost.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of almost. But I've literally, George, I've literally had the schools call me and say, "How are you getting this kid to coexist with this kid in the program?" I had a kid come in. 2 kids came in together in mental toughness. One of them had a scar on their face, and I'm like, "Hey, bud, what happened with that? How'd you get that?" "Oh, he gave it to me."
Yeah, it's this guy.
You know, so no, serious. So, but in the program, we preach so much about family.
Yep.
And look, we're not here just to get you through this program. You know me, and this is the truth for anybody. You come into my life, you're a young person. I know you forever.
Yeah.
You know, this is a forever thing. So family's gonna argue. Family's gonna fight sometimes. You know what I mean? But we can work that out. You know, we could try to figure that out. So that's the approach I kind of try to take with them. And like I said, I never lied to them, right?
Well, that's a big thing. You're dealing with people that are used to having people lie to them.
Yeah. That's a promise I make them from the day they come to mental toughness.
Right, like no matter how bad it's going to be, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yes, always.
Because that's the only way they can move forward.
Yep. I promise them that I'm going to treat them like I would treat my own 2 kids, right? So if you're hungry, tell me. If you're having problems at home and you need to go for a ride, tell me. You know, and that's why we got a case manager. Samantha's great. She's
right, and she worked in the court system up here, so she knows how the workarounds.
Yeah,
are.
she's great. So it's the same thing. I mean, sometimes I got to tell her, hey man, you're doing too much.
A little too much. Slow down.
But she it's her personality, and that's kind of what I wanted to build there.
Well, and that's the thing is like you want people. So, and what out of the people you've said so far, they all have children of their own.
Yes,
and they've all, you know what I mean, through different things. Now, that's a big step because, like you said, when you have children, you start to see it like, hey, my kids we didn't have it like this.
Yeah.
So like you have a different sense of, oh my God. Where like I said, the relatable thing. You relate through it because, hey, listen, I had trouble. I saw trauma. I did this.
Yeah.
I came from a tough upbringing, right? So you get there and then you get in a spot. A lot of people are so quick to go, Nah, fuck them kids. That ain't right. Them kids, you're wasting your time.
100%.
Yeah, but you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
You see them on a different level where like, hey, no, this kid wants to learn. They just don't know how to learn.
Right.
They want to do the right thing, but they were never taught the right thing.
Right.
So
right.
now that's the family part. That's where you bring them in.
Yeah.
That's where you do these things.
Yeah.
That all leads to this next question.
Okay.
You're going camping in the woods?
We did it last year.
And it was probably one of your most successful, fun things.
Yeah. That's really when I started throwing up a bunch of videos on TikTok and stuff. And so a lot of these kids, if I had to ask them all, and if you've ever been camping or if you ever made s'mores,
right?
90% of them would say no. So we take them for a 3-day trip to it's really like a team building and bonding camp. So there's activities that are pre-planned that kind of like you have to do as a team. Some of them to get through, and it's great to see them, and out there enjoying themselves. No cell phone reception,
right?
And no TVs. We go out. We rent this big 22-person cabin. So it's stuff that they would never do, right? Even the activities. So one of the activities is candle making, right? Now you get all these tough kids, and last year this happened. We make no candles. What you mean, Frank? We ain't making no candles. Even the day of when we were walking to the place, Frank, we're just going. We're just going back to the camp. Can we go back to the camp? Can we go back to the house? No, we're going to make the candle making was one of their favorite parts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Then that's where you can kind of say, hey, look, if you just give something an opportunity, you may like it.
100%. Because I tell them, you're most likely never on your own going to say, hey, guys, let's go candle making.
Right.
And now they did it, they've seen it, and then hopefully one day they're going to do something like that with their kids.
Right.
And that's kind of like when things change.
Yeah. Right. Where, hey, when you have a kid one day and they're like, hey, I'd like to make a candle. I know how to do that. I've done that.
Yeah. When I was a kid, if I'd say to my dad,
right,
hey, Dad, you want to go make candles? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Candle making. Yeah.
Candle making. Go outside and play.
Yeah, but you think about it, life is full of experiences, and when you have minimal amount of experiences, you don't know how to
and that's
be a full person.
Yeah, and that's what we hope to do. Give them experiences that they wouldn't necessarily
otherwise would never have.
Or have. Even some of the jobs that we talked to them about that they could do. Right. Oh, I can never do that. Some of them feel like, fast food. Not that nothing's wrong with working in fast food industry or you can build a great career there. I've seen people do it. But, you want them to always want more. Never to just be okay. All too many times I see people that I'm okay with making just enough. Right.
Yeah. It's not okay to be okay.
Right.
Strive for more.
100%. So, we encourage that. And, I tell them all the time, look, I want you to climb that ladder to the top, right? I'm not asking you to step on anybody, to leave your homies, to step on anybody on the way up because, you want to encourage them to come up to where you're at.
Right.
And if one day you fall, you're going to need them there to catch you.
Right.
Because some of them will be there to catch you. But it's always about wanting more. So we try to encourage them.
Want more, making better choices.
Yeah.
Keep climbing the ladder.
Some of the kids, because we help pay for kids to get driving lessons, to get their permits, to get their license.
Which is huge in an inner city.
100, yeah. But you'll be surprised that most of these kids say, I don't need my license, I got a car.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, I imagine that's all the time.
What? I tell them, you get your license, it opens up more job opportunities.
Right.
So...
Yeah, because they'll say, do you have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Well, no, I got a car. Yeah, no, but do you have a driver's... Because what if they need you to drive a work truck?
Yeah. So a lot of things that these kids believe or just not used to or being taught that these are the things that you want to do. You want to get these things done and accomplish these little things along the way. And the more little things you accomplish, the better you'll feel about yourself, right?
Right.
All too many times, and I say that when kids like ours in our program, and if they do something wrong or if they get involved in something, people highlight that. It's always highlighted.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them ask me, why are you putting me on Facebook? Why are you putting me on TikTok? because people always highlight the bad stuff.
Right.
I want to highlight the good, right? So I want they enjoy when they see 250 people liking a photo of them that they don't even know.
Right, because they've never experienced anybody in that capacity.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like, so do most of these kids come from an athletic background or no?
We get some good athletes. We've
Really?
had some good athletes, yeah, and that's something that me and Sam have talked about, right? We have gotten some few good athletes, but yes, athletes sometimes are more encouraged to stay in school because of the sport.
Right.
So a majority of our kids, yes, they probably haven't, been into sports or played sports, but as far as being good athletes, a lot of them are good athletes. But not to the extent where sports in school was enough to keep them in school,
Because the reason I say that is because, like, when you find success in athletics,
mm-hmm.
it represents life. Because listen, athletics teaches a ton of life lessons.
Yes.
The hard work, the punctuality,
yes.
the teamwork, they got to rely on the guy next to you or the girl next to you. So, these are the things. So when you're void of that, and you're coming from an inner city or a broken family type atmosphere, you don't understand like the success. You don't really know how to measure success.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
kind of did it with my own kids. My kids were never the straight A honor students. They passed their classes and stuff, but they both played sports. Marciano played multiple sports in high school, and even golf.
Yeah.
And Bianca played softball. So yes, I think it has to be a fact somewhere.
Right.
Someone has to not have.
Now, can you use anything like that in that program? I know you have like school and you have your work, but do you ever do like team building activities like that?
Yeah. So the way our program works is we split our students into two different groups: Group A, Group B. So during the week, one of the weeks, Group A will be in the classroom. My Group B is on the job site, Monday through Thursday. On Friday, we do a rotating. Every other Friday is a community service day or a leadership day. So for leadership, they pick what they want to do. We have some kids have never been ice skating and they wanted to go ice skating. We take them ice skating at Kiwanis. We've gone hiking, taken them to Donlin, played basketball.
Right.
They have interest in doing a lot of that stuff, and then we also do leadership things, and it could be things like we took them all to the fair, but Sam has taken them all fishing one day.
Now, do you find most of the places in Ulster County are pretty open arms about it?
Yeah,
for the most part.
I think we get a positive response in Ulster County. The kids that we serve is all throughout Ulster County, so it's not just Kingston. Sorgeties, Onteora, Roundout area. We get it's a lot.
Highland, Marlborough, all the way, whatever the county line is.
Yeah, pretty much. I can't think of a spot in Ulster County we don't service. Obviously, it's harder for young people to come from Ellenville,
right?
But we get Ellenville
now.
Kids.
So that would be my next question. So how do they get to you?
So transportation is supposed to be solely on them. We don't provide transportation for them, although the staff that we have,
you get them there if you need to.
Yes. We encourage them to get familiar with the bus system.
I was going to say, do you have any kind of deals with the city bus?
It's free to take the bus now in Kingston and stuff like that. So, but the kids that come from further away, we had a kid one time who the only time he could take the bus from Ellenville was to show up an hour and a half early. So he'd be outside waiting. And we had to let him leave a half hour early
so he could get the bus and go home.
And the kid did it. He did it.
Well, that shows dedication to try to better himself.
Right. And anything that you do, you have to be committed to and dedicated to. Anything in life, relationships,
no matter what,
sports, anything. So I kind of preach that to them. And show me, and you want to do it, and we are going to help you be successful. I don't care if we have to hold their hand for 6 out of the 9 months. We'll do that to get them to where they want to be. So, Yeah.
So
I love it.
I was gonna say, are you fulfilled as a career? Does this fulfill you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do nothing else when I leave here. I'm done working. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I'll just trade stocks and bet sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I believe this is where I was meant to be. It's a funny story how I even got here. So, as much trouble as I was in when I was younger, because maybe a lot of people don't know, but I was even incarcerated for a couple of years.
When you were a young guy.
17 to 19. But everything was youthful offender.
Right.
So I like to look at it as I got lucky. I learned my lesson and I got lucky. So I actually went back to school later on in life. I think 30, I finished my bachelor's.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually was working for a program called Project More in Dutchess County, who worked through the Dutchess County Probation Department. And I was working with older individuals, who were in and out on probation. And I was like, this is not,
it's not what
I'm not going to help someone 50, 60 years old who is just, this is their life.
Right.
I got a call from John Mayer.
Yep.
Park guy.
Yep, Mount Marion guy.
Yeah. So he calls me and says, "Hey, I am the construction trainer at this program, and we're looking for this position. Frank, I think you'd be great for this position with these kids." So I said, "All right, let me try it out." So I took a very big pay cut, and because we're a nonprofit, and I worked there and I loved it. I've been there since. I did leave for about a year and a half because both my parents died, not even a year apart.
No, not even a year.
Yeah,
like 10 months apart.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was you were there.
Yep.
So I left for about a year and a half. Didn't know what I was going to do with myself. Opened up a shop.
Yeah, the shop. You were doing pretty good with that. Then all of a sudden it was like, hey, I'm going back to this.
Yeah, because that was my calling. I actually called Bonnie Landy back, right? That's my executive director. I called her back. I think it was like in January. I said, Bonnie, I'm looking to come back to work. Do you have a position open? And she's like, Frank, we don't at this time. I'm sorry. Try back in a few months. Tried back in a few months, and we have a part-time recruiter position. And now I've already done this. I've already had a higher position within the company.
Right.
I'll take it. No problem.
Right.
Gave me more time to coach, to follow Marciano. Marciano was playing on 3 baseball teams at the time.
Yep.
So went back, and then the rest is history. I just worked my way up and dedicated myself to the program. But really what it is I dedicate myself to helping these kids, these young people, right? I mean, our program goes to 24, 25, but they're still young. They're still kids.
Yeah. Listen, when you're 17, 25, looks like it's old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when you get on the other side, like when you're 40 and you start looking back, you're like, man, they're babies. Yeah. Like 24.
Yeah. And I tell them, it's how you view time. When you're young, you have all the time in the world.
Right.
You don't have no worries, no cares, no nothing. Time don't mean nothing. When you get over a certain age, there's not enough time in the day.
Yep.
Right? So time goes faster. You seem to run out of it quicker. And, I just want them to understand that. So that way maybe they get a little jump start. Maybe get their bachelor's quicker than I did. Stuff like that. So yeah, it's all about, I learned, this is what I learned. I love to see good things happen to good people.
Yeah.
Deserving people.
People that put in the work, people that...
Yes. There's nothing better than seeing one of these young people's face when they do get that good job or they do get their diploma.
So is it a lot like coaching when, we used to say the light switch turns on, like, boom, hey, they got it.
Yeah.
So you see it like, hey,
it's that one hit.
Do you see the switches in people, like when they're like, maybe they're struggling along, maybe they're having problems where they're getting points deducted, whatever, and then all of a sudden they're like, nope, I know what I want. This is what, and then you see like a change in them.
Yeah. I mean, I tell them all the time that I would hire a graduate quicker than I hire anybody else.
Right.
So we've had students that came in the program and literally said to me in our meeting, I just need something to look good in court.
Right.
Okay. You come in, fake it till you make it. They say,
right, yep.
Come on, no problem. We'll help you out. If you're here, it'll look good, do the program. A year later, he graduated the program. It's time to place him at a job. What do you want to do? I'd love to work here.
Right.
all right, let's see if we can find your position. All right, you could be a crew leader on the job site. Year and a half goes by, and here we are promoting him to the assistant construction trainer.
Right.
So that happens numerous times. We've had cases.
Now, do you have that, like, I don't know, like, I don't know how your setup is there. Do you have that, like, on the wall? Like, look at this guy started here.
Well, we have them come in.
And then comes here. Then comes here. Now, do people, are they willing to come back and talk about their, like, do you have them come in and speak?
Oh, yeah. We have a graduate, Jason Rivera, who's a Ulster sheriff. He graduated our program. He's come back.
I remember seeing a picture of you with him.
Yeah. Because what it was is while he was in college, after graduating our program, I hired him as our recruiter.
Okay.
So he was going out trying to get these young people that he once was. So then he, stuck out, became a sheriff, and he's been back with other sheriffs and come back and talk to the students and everything. We have students that pop in all the time that have graduated 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. They just pop in the office just to say hello. And when they do, I'm like, hey, come on to the classroom, come talk to the kids. We have a kid now, one of the kids that walked on stage to get his diploma at Sororities, Logan Griffin. He just enlisted into the military. So
that's just going to make you proud.
He sent me a message if he can use me as a reference and explained to me that when he's done with boot camp, he's coming back in uniform and he wants to know if he can talk to the class. So stuff like that. Yeah, it's great. I'm getting goosebumps just talking.
I could say, and it's all because somebody believed in him.
That's it.
And encouraged them.
That's it.
And that's some things that, and listen, like you said, we know teachers. It's not that they can't, but I think the view that you can give them, or that somebody that's gone through some shit can give them, is like, hey, listen, I've been there.
Right.
I've been there.
Right.
You can overcome something, and all they need to do is be able to see it. Like where it's tangible. Hey, he did that.
That's right.
I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just get them believing in themselves. Do you do any life? Is there any type of a life life classes
Yeah. So we have a mental health class once a month. We have the leadership thing that we do every other Friday is really that. So we have things from banks will come in, teach these kids how to use a bank account, how to do that. These kids, don't or know anything about stocks and trading and stuff like that, right? So you introduce them to that.
Like, what's a portfolio?
Right. And so when you sit and these are kids that think that I can never be like that guy.
Right.
No, you can.
Right.
You can be that guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to take a little bit of work.
Right.
But you could be that guy.
Right. If you're willing to start off as the janitor, you could run the building. You don't know, but you just got to make that first step.
Yeah. You can be that guy, right? Everybody has to, I'm a firm believer in everybody has to make their own moment. You have to take advantage of any situation that comes to you. So we encourage them to do that.
Oh, see? So this is what's funny. Before we came on the air, I said, listen, these things happen, and then we get talking, and you're talking about, what you do, and this is why, because your passion came out.
Yeah.
We're almost an hour in already.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it.
No, feels like it was 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, well, it's about doing a job you love. You know what I mean? Time don't feel like nothing.
No, and when you have these good conversations, that's what I love. I knew this conversation. I see the TikToks. I see how much effort you put into it, and I want to thank you for that. Because, without people like you to give hope to young kids that are struggling like that,
right.
There's just a life of crime, and it's a life that where's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, right? Like you know what? You don't have to look like them. You don't have to come from what they come from. I happen to have that, history and stuff like that. Right. So we relate on that in that sense. But you truly just have to be genuine and genuinely willing to help young people or anybody that is, in a tough situation. Help
and be, and listen, you got to be willing. The person has to be willing.
100%.
And that's the big thing. Yeah. Like you said, 3 weeks, you're going to show me you're willing before you get this program.
You have to show me because there's other kids out there that need the program, right? So,
Right. I don't want to take you, like you said, you don't want to take this guy in or girl who's only going to half-ass it when this person needs it and wants it.
Yeah. And not saying that we've had students came in at 16, wasn't ready. came back in a year later, wasn't ready. But the fourth time with this one student, he clicked.
Right.
Got his diploma, got all the certifications. Now he's a father, and guys at work. So it's like that. You gotta be ready. And sometimes if you're not ready, it's not going to work. It's going to make things worse.
Like, hey, we're ready, but when you're ready, we'll be ready.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be here. Been here since 1994. So
right. All right. Well, we get through that part. Like I said, it's almost an hour. You did a very good job explaining what you do, and like I said, I appreciate you for that. All right, we'll work into our segment, which should have been.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, this week's top 5. The top 5 famous crushes from us growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And we go 5 to 1.
5 to 1.
Yep.
Okay.
So, your least to your best.
All
number
right.
5 to 1. You want me to start? I'll do 5. My number 5, Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald, 16 Candles.
16 Candles.
Yeah,
I mean, the red hair. There was just something about her. She was the it girl in the 80s, kind of.
Yeah.
And it was that 100% was her.
I get it. But, I was never a redhead guy. But, yeah.
Like I was when you mentioned what you wanted to do it about, I was thinking like that was the thing. I'm just trying to think like at that time frame.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, and I kind of put it at like 18 because I left for the Army at 18.
Right. That's
and I just kind of was like what stood out to me.
Yeah.
So that's how I came on my list.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I did it too. So my number 5 was Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
And Mystic Pizza.
Mystic Pizza.
That's what I remember seeing.
Yep, and probably the one where
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
That was when I was a little bit older, but
right.
Mystic Pizza, and for me, it's her lips.
Yeah, she has that really nice smile.
It was just something, about her lips.
Yep.
So I was like,
but she's kind of a redhead.
Her lips.
I know. I got you. All right, my number 4, Kerry Green. She played Andy in The Goonies. Another redhead.
Okay. All right, you got something
Andy
going there.
Goonie, and she was in Lucas.
Yeah. Oh, Lucas was good. That was a good flick.
She's so hot, though.
Yeah. My number 4 is Kathy Ireland.
Holy Jesus. Yeah, I remember. See, that was somebody I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah, well,
Kathy Ireland, yeah.
Danielle, obviously, and Danielle is my Kathy Ireland, and that's how I feel about her. Is she has features of the same and everything. So back when I first met Danielle, the first thing that came to mind, I was like, wow, she looks a little bit like Kathy
the bright eyes.
Yeah. So I was sold.
Bright eyes and dark hair, yeah.
Yeah. So Kathy Ireland's my number 4.
All right, my number 3, Alyssa Milano.
Only 3, huh?
If it's higher on your list, we'll talk when we get up there.
All right. So my number 3 is Mia Sara.
Okay, yeah.
Ferris Bueller's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we were young when that movie came out.
Yeah.
But there was something cool about her. Just cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Like I don't think any of the ones on my list are that supermodel. Right? Like I mean, that's never been my thing. You know what I mean? I like this could be a little thing about them.
Yeah.
So
like their lips.
Yeah, like their lips. I mean, come on.
I know. No,
you can put her lips up against anybody.
Anybody's. Yep, they're amazing. All right. That was your 3, right?
That was my 3.
My number 2, Samantha Fox.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I would say 90% of the men our age had a Samantha Fox poster on their wall at some point.
Yeah. I probably did myself. Yeah.
Right? Like she was she was hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, just like Christy Brinkley and Heather Locklear,
right.
I had the photos, but
everybody. I just remember everybody had a Samantha Fox poster of some sort, whether she had, suspenders just covering her nipples and a fucking hat on, whatever. But everybody, the fishnets, everybody had Samantha Fox.
Oh yeah, hot, yes,
yeah.
And I wasn't enough attracted to her.
Yeah.
So. My number 2.
Yep.
Alyssa Milano.
All right, yeah. So, see, the thing I always thought about was like, she was our age exactly, I believe. So it was like, who's the boss? So it was like, you just kind of watched her go from tomboy to like, kind of really be hot. Yeah,
that's where it all started. And then she got in some of them really good movies.
Yeah, she did. She sure did. There was, was the one Fear?
Now.
With Mark Wahlberg. That was one of his first movies.
Now, I need to clarify something. That is Melissa Milano then.
Yeah.
Melissa Milano now, it doesn't do it for
Nah,
me. Like
me neither.
the attitude, the extremism, that's not for me.
That's a complete turnoff.
Yep. So it's like I'll leave her in the past.
Yep.
I like those memories of.
Yeah, I moved on.
Yeah. Done.
Yep. All right. And my number one, Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Karate Kid.
Yep.
She took over in Back to the Future. She wasn't in the first one, but she was in the other ones.
Yes, I did know.
Cocktail. I mean, she was just a smoke show back. And again, not super hot. Just the girl next door pretty.
That's it.
Great smile.
My number one, and Danielle's very clear on this, that if this woman ever came into my life,
it's on.
That's it.
Yep.
But another one, you might be surprised, but Sandra Bullock.
No, I get it.
That's
Speed.
That's the second love of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, like, I don't know how much you can say on this.
Just pull that mic a little closer to you.
I don't know how much you can say here. But,
you can say whatever you want.
I mean, Sandra Bullock could have been the reason I went blind.
Yeah.
If I went blind,
it was Sandra Bullock.
Been Sandra Bullock's fault.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't remember her in anything before Speed.
She was in a couple early on movies, but I remember seeing an interview of her and just the way she carried herself.
Right.
She was funny and
cool,
she's a cool
easy.
chick, just like laid back. And then again, that's part of Danielle. So I kind of tried to mix Sandra Bullock with Kathy Ireland to get, because Danielle, she's very laid back. She's very, I mean, we counterbalance.
You know what's funny? You know who I always think of for Danielle? I always say, like, me in Boston, because me and my son both get our hair cut there.
That's right.
We'll walk away and I'll go, yo, do you ever think she looks like the mom from Christmas Vacation? He goes, yeah, Dad, she does.
Yeah,
she does.
I'll have to see that.
She really does. Like, if you go back and you look at like the early Vacation movies when she's young, and and she really does. There's something about her that she just has this look like her. And Boston's like, oh my gosh, she does. She does.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
He won't let anybody touch his hair about her.
Yeah, she says that. She says that when he comes up, but that's great.
I always try to get her to like put the clippers on and go, like she's going to shave his all the, because these kids in this fucking long hair.
Well, I do that at the house because, a lot of the kids come to the house.
Yeah.
Because Marciano's buddies or whatever, and get the haircut. I'm always trying to, I'm bald headed, so I'm always in there. Let me get this. Let me just. Because the kids now, they just want all this hair. I don't know if it's because I'm jealous that they of the hair or.
Remember when we were young kids, all the older kids in the 80s had the big hair?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. And like I said to him, I'm like, dude, listen, I'm all about having a hairstyle, but hair is like a fad. Like, all right, you had it long, let's move on.
Right.
Get it to something else now. Clean it up.
Yeah, it's funny watching them, grow. I mean, we're both getting older. Our kids are getting older, and watching the different stages that they go. I mean, I guess our parents had to do the same thing.
Oh, I'm sure. They're probably like, what the hell was this? Like, our clothes in the 90s were terrible.
Yeah.
I hope none of that style ever comes back.
Yeah, you never know. Everything replays itself. So,
who do you think would be on our boys' list of girl? I think like Jennifer Lawrence, because like she's really cool. A younger girl. Like, it's not like it was. Remember, like our time frame, you had posters on your wall. Yeah, it's not like that anymore.
No, because we had no choice.
Right.
Like, these kids have so many options.
Right. We had this Sears Christmas catalog.
I mean, listen. So this is one of the things I tell. I've told my kids. I tell a lot of the, young people that when I was younger, and if I wanted to see a girl or whatever, I gotta get on my bike
and ride miles
so far.
Yeah.
Just for whatever.
Yep.
And nowadays they got their phones.
Yep.
Which
thank God I didn't have them growing up. I don't want to. I'm glad I didn't grow up in this era.
No, absolutely not. I absolutely hate them now, but we can't live without them.
Right.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I
And they video everything. I'm like, dummies. You're getting yourselves in trouble here. Like, you're filming your own problems.
Yeah. Well, I'll never stop believing that. I mean, the whole thing about the chip, right? They're gonna put a chip in us.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is the chip.
That is the chip.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Anytime you say like you're looking for Bo Jackson sneakers,
it's amazing.
I guarantee you tonight we'll have Bo Jackson sneaker ads.
I already know it. I already know. When I have real private conversations, I put the phone in the other room.
Other room, turn it off. Yeah, easy, Tony Soprano. All right, let's go on to the next. We'll do another segment here.
Okay.
All right, 5 crazy questions sponsored by Scalable Computers via GMAC. Number 1, given the choice between facing the 1990s Eagles defense as a running back or Randy Johnson with control issues, which one do you choose?
I do not want to face Randy Johnson with control issues.
I don't want to face Jerome Brown and Reggie White either, though.
Yeah, but you know what? You can go down.
You say that until like a 300-pound guy lands on you.
Yeah, but you could run out of bounds.
Yeah.
You could drop to the ground.
I hear you do, and I hear you on the other thing. Randy Johnson without control issues is going to be.
Yeah, I mean that I'm a baseball guy.
Yeah, but I still don't
those
know.
Those baseballs hurt.
Yeah, because they're hitting you in one little spot, not a whole body.
I remember being hit by Chris Van Valkenburg in Little League, and
it hurt.
In Little League, Chris Van Valkenburg was the unit.
Probably 5'11".
Was the unit.
Yeah.
I remember being hit in the wrist by him when I was younger, and
Yeah, not good.
Nah, I never wanted to be hit by baseball again.
Yeah, yep. All right, so you're gonna do the running back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give it to me.
Number 2, you're given one chance to go back in time to watch any sporting event. What event do you choose? And it could be anything. It could be your own game. It could be anything. You get to go back in time and.
So, I would have to say, be there.
Yeah.
At the game.
Yep. You get to go back and you get to be there.
I'm a Yankees fan, right? But this is another thing. My dad was a Mets fan, and I remember the excitement from him in '86 with the Mets.
The '86 Mookie Wilson.
Yeah. So maybe I would have loved to have been at that game, but the best game I was ever at was when LJ hit that 4-point play for the Knicks.
Okay, yeah.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
I was there. I was at that stadium, and it felt like the roof blew off of it.
So
the most exciting thing at one that was the go-to probably.
Yeah, there's some crazy ones. I would probably do the 1980 Olympic game where they beat Russia.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm not even thinking of hockey.
Yeah. No. And normally I would never. You know what I mean? But I there's something that it had to be so magical in that building where Russia hasn't lost in 22 years or something.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
And a bunch of college kids upset them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're such big sports guys. There's so many moments.
There's so many moments.
So many. Now I'm thinking of boxing.
I'm how could it be just one? You know what I mean?
Marciano is my son's name. It's
right.
Rocky Marciano.
Right.
The boxer. I would love to have gone back and watched him fight.
Yeah.
So many.
But in our time, it doesn't have to be our time frame, but 86 Mets, is there anything really bigger? That week, Linsanity was nuts. Remember?
Yeah. But with just how everything played out with the Mets.
Yeah. Right.
Every situation and.
There was 2 outs. They were down at their final pitch.
Yeah, and like I said, I think one of the biggest reasons because I remember the excitement from my father.
Right.
When that happened. What was that? 10?
10.
11?
We were 10.
Yeah. Yep. So I remember the excitement from him from that. But thank God I grew away from the Mets.
Oh my God, that's like being a Jet fan. All right, number 3. If you had to face your son at the same age, you're 17, he's 17.
Shit.
Pitcher versus hitter, who wins?
I would probably have a lot of trouble hitting his curveball.
He had a good curve.
He has a good curve.
And you weren't a big curveball hitter.
No.
If he fed you to cheese, though, would you put it in play?
I think I could put it in play still. Sure, I do. I want
show dominance.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we're a lot different. I think that he is a much smarter athlete than I was. He was a quarterback too.
Yep.
So even just being able to, pick up all the plays and stuff like that. I think he does all of that part well. And and he's a tough kid too. But I think I was way tougher. I think we were all way tougher
You,
back
you know,
then.
I don't think we ever thought about the game. Like we just knew it because
Yeah.
we played it all the time.
And that's another
Where
thing
I think
too,
these kids are different. They don't. I don't think these kids play as much as we played,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I don't even think they watch.
Right. They don't
sports
watch
as
sports
much at all. Like we
start our day with Sports Center.
I would watch sports or watch players to try and learn new things, new moves.
Right.
Or try and mimic that.
Like the subtleties of Dykstra
Yeah.
dropping a drag bunt or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, literally everything. And that's something that I don't think they do now.
No.
I'm constantly sending videos of like Barry Sanders or
Right.
certain things or certain pictures to my son. Even now he's 19, and I'll say, like, did you watch that? No, I didn't watch it.
No, you know why? Because they can watch something in 30 seconds and it summarizes everything that they think happened. They're like, well, that's how the game happened. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Yeah, they threw a touchdown, but the play before that's what really set the game up.
Right.
They don't let anything unfold because everything's so quick.
Yeah. I can say, believe it or not, Marcelo's faster than he's probably faster than I was when I was his age.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought you were pretty quick.
Yeah, I was quick. He
got quick.
He got quick. You remember as
that's what I said.
We weren't designing quarterback runs for him.
No, we sure weren't.
And I'm telling you when it happened. He was cut from basketball, Sorbities.
10th grade?
Ninth grade? He was cut 7th, 8th, 9th. He wasn't going to try out again. He decided to in 10th. That 10th grade year, I think, when he was on the basketball team with Elmo.
Yep.
He lost like 25 pounds.
Well, yeah, because he went from chubby Marciano to leaned out.
And then as soon as he leaned out and then really started like working out and stuff like that, he got quick. It surprised me throughout the last few years in baseball, Legion, high school, whatever, how he ran the bases and stuff like that. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. Where is the best food in the Hudson Valley? I know you're a big food guy. A lot of people don't know that about you. You love to cook.
I love to cook. I grew up in the restaurant. My dad had restaurants growing up. I love food. I love all kinds of food. I can cook at any ethnicity.
Yep.
Where's the best food? Like location?
Yeah, just where's the best food?
I do think Sorgaty's is starting to grow and be known as a foodie area.
It's pretty funny. Today I had Boston at the Cryo spot up in Catskill. The lady's like, I'm so jealous of you guys.
Yeah.
She's like, Sorgaty's has so many good restaurants.
They have, like, I read blogs and just like a lot of people write about Sorgaty's and a lot of the big foodies, have now including Sorgaty's in their talks and stuff.
Well, from here, just from right where we are right now, just go down Partition.
Yeah.
You're going to hit a really great hot dog joint. You're going to hit a good burger spot with the pig.
Yeah.
You're going to hit, Salt and Fires there. Just up the road is Main Street, which is Mexican,
Yeah.
So, and there's tons of pizza places.
Many options, very good places. I think
Hudson's growing,
Hudson got some good food spots. Same thing across the river and Rhinebeck.
Yep.
But yeah, we go all over the place. Me and Danielle on a Sunday will drive to Philly for a cheesesteak. We've done it. It's the kind of stuff I love. On our free time.
Yep.
Drive around, find markets, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We've hit 3 different states in one day going to Italian markets.
Right.
So yeah, no, I love it. But you mentioned pizza. I think Delila's got decent pizza.
Oh, they do. When they do the coal-fired pizza or wood-fired, that's when I like, because I know they only do it certain days now.
Yeah.
But when they do that, I don't think there's a pizza around that pizza.
I'm very particular about pizza. Comparing it to the city and stuff like that. And pizza's had a pretty rough up this way. I think. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, Delila's is good. Yeah, you know what I hate? That just because we're talking about that, I hate. How many pizza places when you order wings they put the sauce on the side? Do you like that? Do you?
No, I want them on it.
I order. You order hot wings. You get the sauce on the side. You just get fried wings.
Yeah.
I never liked that.
No, you know who has good wings? And their honey mustard in particular is Brickyard.
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, they do. They have really good wings.
I haven't been
really
there
good
yet.
wings. And they're special, like they're plain cheese. I grew up on Pizza Star. I do like Pizza Star's pizza cheese.
Yeah.
But they're their specialty pizzas at Brickyard are awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome
It's one
stuff.
of the spots.
But definitely their wings aren't, their sauce is on them.
Yeah.
And their honey mustard wings are really good.
Yeah.
Really
and
good.
I get it. They give different reasons. Oh, we don't want them to get soggy. We don't want, but their wings, you sauce them up. But their wings,
right? You sauce them up.
Sauce the wings.
I don't want to dunk it in the sauce.
No,
I want it to be on.
I want my wings sauced up.
And as much as I appreciate them, occasionally I'm not a big fan of like wing dings. Like when they're only just breaded.
Yeah.
Like occasionally I'll go to Village Pizza and they're good,
yeah.
but I don't want that all the time.
No.
I want like flavored wings.
Yes.
But I kind of do think like Saugerties as a whole probably has some of the better restaurants.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, Main Street is great. I love going to Main Street.
Even what is it? Tomo Sushi is pretty good over there.
Oh, we were just there. We if we get sushi, that's the first place we go to.
Right.
There's a lot of
El Rancho,
El Rancho's old school.
Yep.
And you have places where
the Avenue,
and
Anarella's.
And Arella's is great.
Yeah.
They got
so like when you really
feel.
think about it, we really do have a lot.
A lot. But us being known as a foodie stop,
right? Yeah,
that has been blowing up.
Yep.
Yeah, lately. Yeah.
All right, and number 5, what's the title of your autobiography? And what would people be shocked to learn from it?
This is funny because Danielle tells me all the time I need to write a book. I think the perfect title of the book, and maybe it's because I've thought about this before, is Out of the Darkness.
Okay.
And if people read that book, they would probably be shocked on how sensitive I am, emotional.
How emotionally sensitive you are to certain things.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, the right movie or
all right, so I'm going to ask you this as a Yankee fan because I have a feeling we had the same reaction. Derek Jeter hits a walk-off in his final game in Yankee Stadium. Did you cry?
Absolutely.
I did too.
I cried when he walked out on the field the other day for Old Timers.
Yeah, I didn't see it because I was out of town.
I taped it.
But that night, I just remember people going, "Are you fucking drunk?" I'm like, you don't understand. This was our youth.
Yeah.
This was our youth.
Yeah.
Our youth just finished in the best way it could ever finish.
And I think that's what made me tear up watching this Hall of Fame reunion that just happened.
Right.
Because it was, now you have to realize, hey, these are the guys that we grew up watching.
We're not kids anymore.
Now they're like retired with gray hair and all that stuff. And I'm watching them come out in the field and I'm thinking,
where'd my fucking life go? Like how quick?
Like, I mean, you know what? I don't know about you. I think from coaching, being around young people with my job and all that stuff, I don't feel old.
I don't feel old either. Like mentally, I feel young.
Yeah.
But I look at myself, I'm like, geez, gray
hair. I didn't know we were talking about looking in the mirror.
No. I'm just saying in general, though, But,
look at me. I come in here.
Right.
Here I am. I got tore a main tendon, the main ligaments, broke 2 bones in my foot. And I would like to say it's because I was diving in center field, or maybe I tagged up at third base.
I pushed off the bag too hard.
I tagged up at third base, and here I am having to have surgery next week.
Right.
So yeah, stuff like that, man. It's insane.
But I'm emotional like that in those type of moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm a big baby when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember we were sitting and watching. This is when Marciano was a little young, when Stu Scott passed away.
Yeah.
From Sports Center. And I was watching the dedication to him, and I was bawling.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like,
it's just Scott, this.
And but he was just no.
Right.
This is someone I watched growing up.
And that's where I think people miss it. Like when you're an athlete, and you're in our world. We grew up on Stuart Scott, Dan Patrick.
Yeah.
So when these guys bring you to a certain point and then here the guy passes away, you're like, oh my God, you don't know how many mornings I spent with Stuart Scott.
Yeah.
You know, how many of my
6 a.m. Sports Center.
Right. Or how many shitty nights turned into great nights because of Derek Jeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
when you went through a breakup or you did this or you did that and Derek Jeter was there making the play to make your life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We had this conversation, me and Marciano, because of that Hall of Fame or the old timers reunion. And he asked me the question. He was like, who do you think who do you think my guy's going to be that retires like this? And,
Right.
and you know, and you know, you figure Judge and, you
Right.
know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he didn't really, it's not like he grew up watching Jeter.
Right,
You know, he caught the tail end of Jeter.
Right.
You know, so he's trying to find that new.
Yeah, like maybe like if he liked Mike Trout, somebody,
Right.
you know, but even,
Right.
yeah.
Even he's a little older though for our boys, you know.
Right. So it's going to be somebody probably that's like, you know, 19, 20 now.
Right.
Just coming in.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's going to get him through. Because like Jeter came up when we were what, 18? Because he's a year older than us.
Yeah.
So he was 19.
Yeah. 95.
So right. So we were like 18, 19 years old. He was 19, 20 years old.
Right.
And then he carried all the way up till he was 40, right?
Yeah.
40.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, back then, you really didn't hear so much about these players when they were young.
Right.
In high school.
No, all of a sudden a guy just came out and you're like, hey,
you know,
this is the rookie without skinny.
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. I can honestly remember the biggest deal about a young kid was
it Taylor, the left-handed pitcher? Remember him back in the day?
Yeah. But even coming more current was Bryce Harper, right?
Oh, yeah,
Bryce
yeah,
Harper
yeah.
was young, 15, hitting 500-foot home. They made a big deal about it.
Yep.
Kids now, with social media and all the internet stuff, you know, they're following these people.
Like you said, Chris Van Valkenburg earlier, his son, who's now only a 10th grader, as a freshman, was committed to Miami. And he's the number one guy. And like everybody knows, he's the number one recruit in the class of 2026 in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's a freshman.
Right.
Right. You know,
a long way to go.
Right. Long way to go. But like, we never heard of that. And now that's the new, that's the new norm.
Oh, it's the new norm. Just a new norm. You have now the college transfer portal.
Yeah. Right.
And it's great, right? It gives kids a lot of opportunity. But I firmly believe in a few years to come, it's going to really hurt the high school player.
I do too, because when you're coming out and you're highly touted, well, I want you as a whatever. Doesn't matter if quarterback, a shooting guard, whatever. Well, that guy that's a senior who's 22 years old is now going to transfer into whatever school he's going to.
The top-ranked high school players are still going to be the top-ranked high school players. Yep. But as far as the Division I goes, I think that
you're not going to see them play as early.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
So
here's another thing. I mean, we're getting on sports and whatever, but here's the other part of this. I just heard this weekend, and I kind of agree with it. The Colorado Buffaloes right now, Deion Sanders is over there. And, you know, like I have a betting show, and I kind of went on the thing of, hey, listen, they were 1-11 last year.
Right.
Now they're in a Power 5, the whole deal. But now they started out 2-0, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Listen, nothing's been proved. It's 2 weeks so far. They're winning. I'm not nothing. I'm kind of actually a fan of what he's doing. But they said what you're seeing is the death of college football. Because of these NIL deals, and Deion's got a deal with Nike, now you're going to see the business side of how college is going to start working.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, and somebody said it perfectly, it's going to be somebody that has enough money, but not enough money to own an NFL team. And they're going to own a college team, basically.
Yeah.
They're going to say, hey, come down to my dealership and say that you drive a Ford. And then I'm going to pay you $500,000 to come here, and I'm going to buy all the best players in the country.
Yeah.
And we're going to go win a national championship.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's just how it is now.
That's how it's going to be.
That's right. You know, they're filling their stadium.
Yeah.
$400 tickets.
Right.
You know?
They didn't even have the money to pay him the $28 million or $29.5 million they owed him.
Yeah.
For his his contract. And they raised $28 million once he got named coach. So he'll bring the money.
Yeah.
But, you know, like.
Yeah. And I mean, he's bringing the players.
And he is. And he is.
He's bringing the
and
players.
why would you not? Like when you have Warren Sapp, who's a Hall of Famer as a coach.
Right.
You know, on the sideline is T.O. On the sideline is Michael Irvin. Like,
yes.
So you've got all this wealth of information and Hall of Famers pulling in. So.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more segment, and then we'll let you get out of here before your wife kills you.
Yeah, I got pizza.
Oh, you good?
Yeah. All right.
All right, we have done this before. Over and under. Number 1, Carson Wentz. Is he overrated, underrated? There is no push.
Carson Wentz is overrated.
Highly overrated.
He's
the Jets
overrated.
are talking about getting him. I think that's a mistake. I think he kills every organization he goes to.
Yeah, I think his first injury
Get
was,
him in.
was the last of them.
He was cruising. He was going to be the NFL MVP.
Yeah.
And then
but that first injury, he's never been the same since.
Never been the same since.
Yeah. So he's overrated. He's overrated.
Okay, number 2, New York City Bagels.
Does anybody underrate them?
They're huge. For me, they're just way too big.
But
they're delicious.
It's usually okay. So
you can't find them other places.
Being a family that came from the city to upstate, right. when our family would go visit, they would bring us back some bagels, bring us back some right. bread, bring us back some cheese, stuff like that. Bagels were always included.
When I dated the girl from Brooklyn and she moved up here, and she goes, Locks is the closest thing I can get to the city.
Yeah,
because like down in Marlboro where she was from and wherever. When she moved from the city up here, she's like, there's no bagels like this.
Yeah, no.
Locks was probably the closest, maybe Sunrise.
Yeah, I love the city bagels.
They're delicious.
Danielle's Jewish, so she loves the city
dirty
bagels.
Water bagels.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's like the hot dogs, though.
So they're underrated.
Underrated.
Okay.
Yes.
Number 3, Cantine Field. Not the complex, the actual field.
It's underrated. If anything, because I think it's one of the best complexes around.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best fields, but there's a part of me that thinks it's overrated. With a full-time crew, I would think that field would be a little bit better. Like I've seen it where, and you've seen it, your son plays there probably on Legion and that.
Yeah.
Where the ball's taking some wicked bounces, like it's not like it's hard, like they didn't rake it out, or with a full-time crew, like.
Yeah. They're one of the when we travel to play other places and places here that we have a full-time crew.
Right.
A lot of places are shocked.
Yeah.
But no, I can see from that standpoint. But as far as like one of the bigger,
right, even the lights, everything's beautiful there.
The lights, the grandstand. You know, it is like a minor league stadium now.
It is. I'd like to see a padded wall.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know that's expensive. I get it. I understand that. But if that's what you're going to do,
if it's going to continue to grow, sure. Put up a jumbotron or
I heard they might be one coming.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I think that was being talked about. But
like what, a small video board or whatever.
Right. Because the high school plays there, which is nice that they still.
Yeah, that they still allow them.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, number 4, trade schools.
Trade schools are underrated.
I agree. Highly underrated because college isn't for everybody.
No. And this is what we do where I work.
Right.
And there's such a shortage in trades workers that
plumbers.
They are paying almost double now. And right now is the time you want to get in. There's going to be a mass retirement coming up here soon.
Yeah, well, Tommy DeSico, who sponsors the show a lot of times.
Yeah.
You go out on a paving job with him. Most of the other paving companies, guys are 60 years old.
Oh yeah,
like no one wants to do that work.
Yeah,
and if you're a young man that's willing to hustle, you could probably have an empire.
Oh, 100%. And I try to tell our young people that too. But they can make money now by Ubering a couple days a week.
Right.
Delivering.
There's so many more ways to make money now that aren't traditional ways.
Bust your butt all day,
right,
in the hot sun, and so this is the mentality.
Right,
a lot of young
that's
people
how they think. Yeah,
nowadays,
when I could just make 10 videos on YouTube. And
we had to work for stuff, and we pay for all of our kids' stuff.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's different times.
All right, and number 5, the Garlic Festival. Overrated.
Yeah.
I thought a foodie like you would say it's underrated.
I don't even go to the Garlic. I mean, maybe it's because I'm from here.
Right. Well, because we've done this so many times.
Right. And for me, even to come this way for the Garlic Festival, it's such a hassle. Yep. You know what I mean? So, I think that happens in a lot of places. I remember when I lived in Carolina, and they have an Azalea Festival down there, and it was the same thing. It's like the local people are like,
I'm good.
There. I have been, yes.
Yeah.
My uncle has had spots in there at times, but Yeah, it's for me, it's overrated.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, I love food, love garlic.
Right. But being in our
Yeah,
in
and
our
I think that's the
backyard,
main reason. We've been here since we're kids, man.
right. So we've seen it for 20 years now.
Right,
We're good.
and I know how jammed up it's going to be.
Yeah, you can't move around that.
So
it's what, 2 weeks from now, I think?
Yeah.
2 weekends from now.
Yeah.
So what'd you think overall?
I think you got a great thing going on. Yeah, it's a cool spot, and I love how you change up different kinds of topics and information getting out there.
I think people are like my whole thing, and if people heard this before I say it, I think the normal person is more interesting than a Hollywood star.
Yeah,
than somebody famous. Like you.
This is why so many normal people are becoming the
right.
famous, right?
Right.
Like, what's his name there now? That song.
Oliver Anthony. Yeah,
love it.
Phenomenal.
Love it. Simple, normal guy.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Normal dude.
But that's what everybody wants, right?
They're tired of the fake bullshit.
Yes.
They want just authenticity.
Yes. And I don't think either one of us
has
ever been fake.
Never.
You know what I mean?
No.
That may be sometimes why we maybe bumped heads.
Right.
Because we're just
we're just saying what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I believe if that's how you live your life and that's how you are, you won't surround yourself with fake people.
Right.
So
I've taken more shit for saying what I thought than the sugarcoating it and hiding stuff.
Well, Danielle, tonight when I was coming here, she said, Don't embarrass us, and try not to say everything that's on your mind, because she knows. If you ask me a question, I'm just gonna
You let it flow. Yeah, I know.
It's this is it.
Right.
This is me. That was my.
But
song
that's the
there.
truest thing.
As you are, right?
Right. Yeah. Just as you are.
That's it.
But I want to thank you to come on, and I'd love to have you on again when we do a football show.
Yeah.
I know you like to bet and all these things. So
yeah.
we do a live betting show on Friday nights. So
okay,
that's pretty cool. Check that out. I don't know how our picks went this week. I'll have to. My nephew keeps track of it. We got a cool idea. It's called First and Goal or something like that. And we're going to take $10 and we're going to create 100 out of it.
Okay.
So that's the touchdown. So if we can take that $10, move it all the way down the goal line,
gotcha,
and score, see how many touchdowns we can score in a year.
Yeah.
We might only score one, but the idea is to take $10 and turn it into 100.
I bet all different kinds of ways. Right now, there's a TikTok going around where this guy has his baby walk into the helmets
and picks them.
I'm playing that this week.
Yeah, why not? Right? Let it ride.
Let it ride, man.
I hear you. All right, so we're all set. You got anything? Why don't you give me where we find you on TikTok and where you find?
So I have my own personal TikTok, right, which is Frankie Naglia. We also have a Ulster Youth Build TikTok. You can Google Ulster Youth Build, and we have our own website with applications and information for years, and then also a Facebook page. A lot of great pictures.
Same thing,
videos.
Ulster Youth Build?
Ulster Youth Build. Type that in, and our stuff will come up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. For GMAC and Frank, this is the Outlaw Blitz podcast, and as always, take it deep.